G'day everyone. Proud to say Bar Karate is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
G'day all, how are you, Jay? Going all right?
Oh, tired BP, got so much on. It's a lovely day up here and I haven't got to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, this work thing gets in the way of a good podcast, doesn't it?
I know, surely the podcast ranks first. I don't understand.
Well, no, we're working on it. We're working on
it. Yeah. Regarding the other bloke?
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Boys, I'm out. Major sail shuffle. Change the format to 2 windward leeward races and we need to reconfigure the boat.
Well, what that means. You know what that means. That means take the interior out. Take the interior out. Remove the fridge and put removable eskies on.
The grand piano comes off.
The grand piano definitely comes off. The pictures on the hanging wall, the plants, the pot plants are out.
Yeah.
No room for a pot plant in a windward leeward.
And he's just sent a little update, Fruity today, some nerves on the dock. So he's got a shot of the wind strengths. Plenty on. Okay. All right. What's he on? He's on the Galatea, isn't he? Yeah. So anyway.
Wouldn't have been too much to reconfigure. She's pretty sparse anyway. Just nice, but I'm pretty sure they would have gotten the cushions off maybe, that sort of stuff.
I gave up going for a sail today, BP. There's Mooloolaba Yacht Club got doing a series of dinghy stuff just out in the bay at Mooloolaba. So anyone can come along, and there's the Wally windsurfers and all sorts of little boats. And so I was going to grab the Wally and run out there, but I'm not too stressed because the wind was pretty light, and I could have come last by a country mile.
Well, we're going to have to start putting ourselves forward at some stage, and in theme of today's show, to be honest, I mean it's there could be some sailing coming up.
Yeah, it's a good show. Well, let's get into it, bud. So we obviously, not by sort of planning, we've sort of been talking about events, major events and things to be aware of. And this one, we're doing the same again today. It sort of crept up on us, but the Fin Master Worlds in Meadowbank are on from the 13th to 21 June. So basically the racing starts next Sunday as we go to air. So a week from when this episode goes out. And there's about 10 Aussies going to compete in a fleet of 313 boats. So we have to talk. It's
insane.
It's insane, isn't it? And one of the Aussies is a guy called Phil Chadwick. And Phil's one of those blokes that, he's been sailing his whole life, got into the Fins probably 2015. And since that moment, he's the guy that's just driven the class in Australia. And his story is really interesting and how he sort of goes about it. So we're sort of going to try and focus in on Phil and what he's doing, and then also talk about the Worlds coming up. And then also next year they're going to be in Brisbane. So, and Phil's organising those with a team of people.
This is what we're talking about. There could be a little bit of a Bar Karate contingent. We promised before, but you never know.
Somebody's got to come last. Cool. All right. So welcome to the show, Phil Chadwick. Phil, thanks for joining us on Bar Karate, mate.
Pleasure, Jordan. Very nice to meet you guys and BP for the first time.
Yeah, no, it's always good to catch up with legends. I've got to say, my time in Fins are quite limited, so I'm going to be learning a lot tonight. But I love the boat and love the class. I love how it's kept going. That's what I love about it.
He's in trouble, Phil, isn't he? Because he's mentioned he likes the fin, so you know what's coming, don't you? Phil.
Yeah, what does he weigh? What does he weigh, Jordan?
Yeah, he's perfect, mate.
I'm 100, mate. I'm a real human.
That's good. You're 100%. I'm 110%.
So one of the great things about you, Phil, obviously you got a great sailing background, but once you got dragged into the fin, you know, you had to go on a fin. You bought the boat straight after, I think. You've created this whole thing. You're, as I said in the intro, you're one of the guys that every class needs, you know, like you built the whole Facebook page as far as I understand it, or the way I observe it is, if somebody clicks onto the Facebook page and starts looking at fin stuff, hits a like, that goes straight into he goes straight into the target list. And next thing you know, there's a call, and you'll go, right, this boat's available. You need to go and buy that boat, and that's it. You don't get any choice, because that happened to me.
Yeah, I know. That was first-hand knowledge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing because you see people that like everything you do, but you don't hear from them. And I'll talk to other guys in the class, and I go, this guy's the guy that's going to buy the next boat. And you can just tell by the amount of likes on the Facebook page.
Right.
Yeah, works well.
But, you know, like, where's the passion come from, mate? Like, was it just, how did you start doing that? You know, like, you literally just moved the market in the fin world in Australia. Like, you've obviously got a hunting list, and you're a natural salesman?
Yeah, I've just retired two weeks ago, actually.
Congratulations. I was going to ask. Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, so no, I've been a salesman since I left school, pretty much. Had 34 years in the construction industry selling cranes. So, yeah, I think it comes from that kind of background and being organised. But I've actually done it more or less in every class I've been in. Just Facebook came along at the right time and made it a bit easier.
Yeah.
I kind of have a bit of a philosophy. I have done a bit of a read of the run sheet there, Jordan, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
but I also, it's sometimes you got to be that guy. You got to get out there and do it, because no one's going to do it, are they, for you? And if you see something that needs doing, you can sit there and wait all you want. It's not going to happen. You just got to do it yourself.
So I think it sort of got escalated a bit after my first Masters Worlds, 2015. I remember sitting on the plane flying home on the way back from Greece, and one of the notes I made was, we need a fleet of 40 boats like they have in Medemblik.
Right.
And I think at the time we had, when I got to Brisbane, we had 3 boats, and I was the only one sailing regularly, and I was cruising up to Peel Island or down Loder Creek or up the Birkdale canals and racing laser guys. So then I started recruiting laser guys that were too big.
Yeah.
And we built that fleet from basically 1 to 3 boats up to, I think at a peak, about 36.
Yep.
And so we had our maximum we had in a club race was 21. And the philosophy is, and I think we all have learned a little bit from the Kiwis how they share knowledge and encourage each other, is that it doesn't really matter how big your fleet is, but you need to be inclusive. If you're exclusive, then you'll exclude people, and people will come and go. We've had people come in that have been pretty close to learn to sail people coming out of Hobie Cats, and hi to Steve if you're there. But Steve struggled, you know. He was tipping the boat over and had all kinds of trouble. But as a fleet, we coached him, and his level rise, and we had the help of Jake Lilly and Ollie Twaddell and Brendan Casey, and we paid these guys to coach the fleet, not individuals.
Yep. And
so everyone's J curve just rose off the scale, and you know, we started off using old rubbish sails and recycling gear, but it's got to the point now where we only use good sales, and the level has gone up and up and up, and it's been a lot of fun. But it's all about inclusiveness, is how you grow a fleet. You got to bring everyone in.
You do. Pete's getting spoilt there at the other end. Somebody's serving him meals and drinks. That inclusiveness, because we talk about that, Phil, there's sort of a couple of things we say on the show. One is it's got to be fun for everyone, right? And if you got one bloke winning every week and then somebody coming last every week, the fun disappears at the back end of the fleet and it gets boring, so you've got to do different things. And I can attest that, you're a classic example when you're in the boat park and you're looking up and you go, well, geez, I don't know how to tune this. And you'll come over and go, right, you need this and I'll help you rig it, and boom, you need to have this tension on your leech and you've got to, don't use that sail, go and get the other one, like there's no sort of, you're not coming in nice and gentle. You're just trying to push people to get there, like that's because, you want them to succeed.
Yeah. A couple other things we do, and I think you've probably been part of one or two of them, is that we grown the social side of the class.
Oh, yeah.
So in the
he says.
Yeah, well, you want to. So 19th of July is a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's now the midwinters. It was the Queensland States, and we were getting 42, 43 boats to the Queensland States, and so we've rebranded it. Bayside Property Agents Winter Nationals this year, and they've donated some money, which means we can have a bigger long lunch. So,
well, I mean, that's an important point. We actually have had quite a few discussions about your sailing formats. Going out early, having a lunch, and that's it. That's always works well for us. But then you also got personalities. I think the Finn is full of personalities, and we've got our favourite is Knocker, obviously. We love him. Done a lot of sailing with him. And it's people like that make the fleet. You've got to sort of say that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Knocker's in Europe in winter, so we don't get to see him at the long lunch. Probably a good thing, really.
Yeah. No, it's a good thing.
But yeah, we actually Knocker's going to be in Medemblik for the Masters in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so we'll catch up with him then.
I guess the point you just made then, the social side of it is, is what keeps the thing rolling, and I think it's a really big focus.
Well, it's a bit unique because we made a decision years ago to raise the membership from $50 to $150 a year to cover socials, and so. If Jordan comes to the long lunch, he can bring Jenny, he can bring his grandparents, his kids, whoever he wants to bring, and they're all paid for. It's not just sailors. I hate it when you go to an event and you go, can I bring my wife? Well, that's another $30. It's not like that.
Yep.
Everyone can go along, and if you're having estate titles in Melbourne or Adelaide or Sydney, then, we contribute to that as well. But, if you can raise some sponsorship, like we have for the midwinters, it gets bigger and better.
Yeah.
So the reason, for the listener, we've mentioned it on the show before with the talking about the Finns and talking about how they run this midwinter regatta in Brisbane, which is going to be the home of the Worlds in 26. At this time of year, and today it started, Phil, just so you know, the Westerlies kicked in today. Had a good westerly out there today. And so what happens is in the morning you get these nice strong westerlies, good winds, offshore, flat water, and then in the afternoon it does start to diet. So you come in for lunch and then just that's it. You're talking to your mates, having a laugh. You've sailed 3 races in the morning and, if your partner, you're not all trapped all day. And that's always the big mistake I reckon regattas make, trapping everyone down the club all day. So you can choose to go and do the lunch, but if it's not your thing and your partner needs to go somewhere, they can do that sort of thing. So it's a good play. And so that's, decent, normal sized human blokes having a quiet drink is a fun time, is all I'll say.
Yeah. We'll try and keep the ambulances to a minimum.
Oh
yeah.
Well, so before we go into all the other stuff, let's just get into you a little bit, mate. So you're a classic classic bloke. I kind of know your story, but I'll throw it to you to open up. Like, when did you start in sailing, or do you want me to tell it?
No, I'll tell a story. I probably know a little bit more than you.
Maybe.
I'd be surprised, mate. I'd be surprised.
My dad was a yachty, and he had 3 kids, and I was the youngest of 3, and so Mum made him give up sailing because he couldn't afford to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But when I was 9, we were at a golf day, and with his old mates from Port Melbourne Yacht Club, and they said get the kids into international cadets in the club boats.
Yep.
More or less free. So you get. Well, I don't know what we paid, but it would have been minimal. So yeah, we got into that, and since my first day sailing, I remember going home and saying to Dad, 5 days to go, and he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Till I can sail again."
Yeah,
so that passion just burned straight away. So he started in cadets at 9 years old.
And I'm going to be honest, I knew that Port Melbourne Yacht Club, and I think that you had all the 7 Dwarves boats is what I remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
Alan Gladman in Grumpy was the gun.
Yeah.
But we bought one of them. I'm not sure, it wasn't Grumpy, but and we renamed it Breakthrough. But still lives in Yarrawonga Yacht Club. Last time I saw it.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah,
the 7 dwarfs of cadets. There you go. Who's in Sneezy?
It was Snow White. It was a Snow White as well. Keith Dunn had that from memory.
Yep. Yeah. So obviously, you're like me. You did most of your career on the wire. So 32 years on the wire, sailing fireballs, FDs, 14s. Is my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Spot on. And then you got dragged into the fin. So, Craig Ginnivan from Cancurran rang me up and he said, "What are you doing the long weekend in June?" I said, "No, I got nothing on." I was sailing 14s at the time, and I think I had a pacer that I'd sail with the kids on Albert Park Lake. But he said, "Why don't you come to Hazelwood for the..." What they call that thing?
Is that
they got the hot water
station?
down there. Sauna sail.
Yeah, the power station thing.
He said, yeah, which is now closed. But so we went to sauna sail. The water was 27 degrees, and the air temperature was I think it was like -3 driving to the yacht club. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, did that, and I raced Craig in fireballs for a long time, and I had this old Devotee and won the first race, and I came in, rang my wife, I said, "I've got to buy this boat." It was too much fun.
Oh dear!
Yeah.
I wonder how many times you've rung Jane and she's just gone. You've gone. "Oh, I've got to do this" in your life.
No. It's the opposite now. She says, "Buy it." And I go, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. When's your next weekend, mate? When's your next weekend?
Yeah, get out of the house. There is a bit of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that. But I've been a travelling salesman and a yachty all my life. So she does like her own time.
Yeah. But, like as you say, a yachty all your life. Like, I mean, I know some of your old mates are the same old mates as mine. You've got a lot of crossover, and you've done stars, and you've done a little bit of keelboat stuff, I guess. And but do you remember, if you think back through all that time, any real sort of favourite moments?
Look, sailed with Lindsay Irwin for 16 years on fireballs and FDs and 14s, and so we won our first nationals
he's pretty handy. He's pretty handy.
Yeah, he's getting old though. You can see him now.
He's still doing the contenders, old Linz.
I think.
Yeah, he's still got a 14 as well. But he's about 4 years older than me, so it's a look into the future to see what parts of your body break down. But I can't believe he's still on the wire. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But and elbows won't hold me up.
Yeah.
But we won our first nationals in Perth, and that was pretty special. I think that was about 94.
The 14s, was it? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were, because I sort of did a bit of 14ing. I came in a little bit sort of late. I was probably like 97, I think, 98, with Snowdy and the guys. And
right.
yeah, I sailed with Snowdy for a couple of years, and you guys were always the go-get-ems. We had to try and sort of work with that as our benchmark. But no, you're always too good for us.
Yeah, we had an unfair advantage. We'd done that much sailing together. We didn't need to talk on the boat. We didn't need to say it's getting low, let's tack. We just tacked.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
It was pretty amazing, and I guess it took it for granted for how good it was. But it got to a point after 16 years together, just had to make a break. It was and do something else.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Other highlights was sailing with the kids and paces. We had a lot of fun doing that, and then I did a couple of star regattas with Rodney Haggerboles in LA.
Yeah.
Did you know about that, Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, Rodney.
The old King of Spain regatta with the great Rodney Haggerboles. He's a wonderful human being.
Haggerboles, yeah. No, we had so much fun. Coming off the start line in that first regatta, the King of Spain, and we got gold stars all around us, and it's light, and I'm laying on the deck, and Hag's steering, and a little bit nervous, but he goes, "How we going, Chad?" I go, "We keeping pace." I said, "Mate, we're in good company. We've got gold stars everywhere." A good story about that regatta. I took off from Melbourne at 8 a.m. and landed about 7:30 in LA, something like that. Before I took off. Anyway, we're in the car, and we're in the boat by 10 o'clock that morning, sailing up the river, and no sleep, nothing, no sleep on the plane. Anyway, Hag goes, "How you feeling?" I go, "Pretty tired." He goes, "Oh, we can do 1 or 2 races and come in." We had three races that day and the next day. Anyway, we won. I think after 2 races, we were second, losing by a point. And anyway, we get to the top mark of the 3rd race, and we're leading. And I go, "Geez, Hag, I'm a bit tired." You can imagine what he said.
Shut up. Stop thinking.
Yeah.
You're doing fine, bro. You're doing fine.
There's a little bit of language not repeatable, but it was pretty funny. And that regatta with one of my very best mates on the planet, we never sailed together but always raced against each other. That's a really vivid highlight in my life. It's beautiful.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. It's yeah, great experience. I love the fact that you're too tired. You do your best work when you're asleep, mate.
Yeah, that's right, apparently.
Yeah. And so the whole travelling to regattas, like I often wonder with you, my friend, is like the Finn and the World Masters for the Finn, like it's such an amazing event. So many people turn up. But to me, it's sort of, from an outside looking in, it's sort of your travel guide. You don't have to plan where you're going for your next holiday. You just say, "Jane, we're off to we're off to now Meadowbank."
Yeah, it's a bit of a sore point at times, Jordan, as you can imagine.
Okay,
but there's you're not wrong, and there's likely to be a Masters Worlds in Morocco, and so when that comes up, you plant the seed. Oh, the Worlds might be in Morocco. Maybe we could go to Istanbul on the way and go to Split and then end up in Morocco. Pretty good holiday, right?
Yeah.
So no, you're right, and it is. But it's also for travelling around Australia. We've got the Finn fleet in Perth's gone from 1 boat to 9 boats.
Yep.
And they're going to have the Nationals in January 2028. So now we're retired. We're planning a 6-month trip to get there.
Nice.
Pack the boat early in a container, and then hook up the camper and go across the top. And do all the things that Jane wants to do in the Kimberley and those things that aren't sailing related, but end up down in Fremantle racing fins in January.
Yeah.
Nice trip.
Yeah, beautiful.
But that's the thing, like, so when you do, with the World Masters, right, with the fins, like, I'm trying to think, for Medemblik, we've got, what do we got? 313 entries, I think you're telling me.
It's just insane, isn't it?
And that's why we got to talk about fins, because they're doing it right. Whatever it is, they're doing it right. And so we got to throw...
Which is what I said earlier,
Yeah, different theories out there. So, when so I'm thinking from Jane, so I keep saying Jane, this is Phil's wife. From that perspective, when you get to a fin event like the World Masters, how is it for the partners? Do they do things for them, or are they all mates and wander off?
No, so the Aussie girls and the Kiwi girls hang out together a lot, but they have a ladies program, or a partners program, we call it these days, to be woke, whatever you would call it. But, so yeah, and you can do what you want. You can do 1 day or 3 days. So Jane will look at the itinerary and go, yeah, I'm going to do the winery day. Funnily enough, that's the sort of thing that she'll do. But So most of these, so this is my fifth one. I went to Torbelley on my own, but usually Jane comes, and usually we got one of the kids, but we got all three coming to this one, so she'll be busy.
Oh,
she'll have three. Yeah, they're three grown-up children, but
wow,
we got one that lives at Hamilton Island and one that lives in London, and so we're all getting together for the first time in a year.
Fantastic.
Why would she be busy? Surely they can look after themselves by now.
Yeah, they will, but she's the mum of all mums. She'll be busy.
The inherent mum. Yeah, I get it. Don't worry, I get it.
I thought they might be corrupting a BP.
Yeah. Well, I guess I just put myself in the situation. If I go in there with my mum, she's always your mum, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's true. Obviously, so the world's Medemblik in the Netherlands, which is, well, that's pretty much Nick Heine's home backyard. So if you're the great Nick Heine, Olympic fin sailor, episode 210 from memory on Barkarati.
Off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head. I think they had the Gold Cup there in 1963 off the top of my head, Phil.
Off the top of your head again? Two off the top of your heads in a row.
Yeah, if I knew that, I'd do a bit more research. Mate. Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned 1963. In 1965, must have been 1975, they had it at Brisbane.
Yeah.
So the Brisbane Gold Cup will be back in Brisbane 50 years after the first time in Brisbane. So 75 and 2020. No, it must have been 76. 1976 and 2026.
There you go.
So 50-year anniversary. Mm.
All right, let's talk about that. Let's get into that, because that was sort of one thing I really do want to get into. The Worlds are going to be in Brisbane in 2026. So there's 3 events going to be part of it. So from what I understand, it's going to be at Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron, where the fleet is, the fin fleet.
Yep.
So the World Masters, 20 to 27 February, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
The Australian Nationals will be 7 to 12 February. And then
7 to 10.
7 to 10 February. And then the Gold Cup is 12 to 19 in February.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's a fourth event being chucked in, would you believe?
Yeah.
So Felipe Silva from Portugal, the Fin Dinghy Academy, he's sponsoring an event called the Continental Championship, which is at all the continents, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and North America.
Right.
So the Continental's going to be the 7th and 8th of February. So that'll be 2 club races, which is the registration for the Nationals, do 2 club races, and then the first day of the Nationals will be Heat 1 of the Continental Championship. So there's a fourth event chucked in.
Okay, so what you're saying is for that event coming down for the Fin Worlds in Brisbane. You're going to get plenty of sailing, so that's one good thing. Plenty of sailing, but what else? Why else would you want to come down to Brisbane in Australia and go fin sailing?
Well, if you lived in Finland, what's the temperature in February? It'd be minus 30.
Good point.
Yeah. So, and that's why the Kiwis love coming over in July, because it's 2 degrees or 0 degrees in Christchurch in July, but they can come to Brisbane and it's 20. Yeah. So I guess the idea is to give the Europeans and Northern Hemisphere people more sailing. It's in February to allow time to pack their boats in October and get them back for their spring. So, the English have got, I'm in London at the moment. Their buying power is massive. Right. The cost of living here is off its head, and we're paying 2 to 1 for the dollar to the pound. So they'll come to Australia and think that it's the cheapest place they've ever been to, I reckon.
You reckon? That's good.
Well,
that's good.
Unless they go to Mexico, but no, they'll their money will go a long way, and they'll get to avoid a European winter.
So of course, going to be sailing at RQ. So where are the courses going to be, mate? Off RQ.
So all of the courses will be inside Green Island, except for the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup's got an option to go east of Green Island in the waves, and the maybe more wind. Yep. So I don't know how many days they'll do that. They might do that for 2 out of 5. It'll be a big effort to get all the boats there. I don't know. Have you sailed east of Green?
Not in a dinghy. Taken a few yachts out there. Yeah, I've coached out there. I actually coached Olympic trials in '92 out there. So.
Well, I was there in that. It's a bloody long way, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a long way. That's right. Yeah. That's tough to at the office, that one. But there's further sales out there. I can tell you that, mate. That's one of the great things about RQ. Like, to get out to the course, you just come out of the marina and you're there. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And that was the idea of our bid, that you could be on the race course in half an hour. But IFA really wanted to go east of Green. So they've agreed to that. The yacht club's agreed to that. It would be handy if they had a coach boat to get them towed out there, but and they're going to be long days when they go out there, and that's why I think it'll be limited to 1 or 2 or 3 days. They couldn't do 5 days east of Green. It'd be way too much.
Yeah.
I remember my first 5-0 Worlds was in Canada, and we had to sail out on the lakes. It took us. We left at 6:30 in the morning. Took us 3 hours. We sailed all day, and we get back at 8 o'clock at night sailing. We take turns sleeping on the boat. One would be on the wire steering the boat home or steering the boat out, and it was just it's too much, mate. So 6 hours of travel time.
Well, that Olympic trials that you coached at, we were allowing 2 hours to get to the start line in an FD planing, planing on the wire with
like 20 miles.
Yeah, food and water for the day, and an uprange and downrange headsail. It was a big effort, but when you're young and fit and strong, that's what you do.
Yeah, no, fair enough too. But so for any competitors listening in, one of the things that they can experience is obviously, if you get a nice trade wind sort of setting in, you get some lovely breezes come in. It's warm. The water's shallow, so it gets a little choppy. So you want to be able to set up for quite shallow water because it will chop up with that size of fleet. So you need to probably get your hiking fitness going, I would suggest. What do you reckon, Phil?
Yeah. Well, we were in February. We'll be getting sea breezes, so you might start in 12 knots, but I reckon by the end of the day it'll be 20.
Yeah.
And the best ride's always down the through the leads coming into the harbour. It's always the windiest part of the day, hiking flat out and spray going everywhere. So hiking fitness won't go astray, but, the water will be 27 degrees. The air temperature will be probably 32. You'll see dugongs, turtles, stingrays, everything that you can think of. We won't talk about the sharks.
Yeah, very little.
You can't see them.
Yeah.
But you might bump into a dugong, which will be once in a lifetime experience for some of those Europeans.
Yeah,
bit of a thudding experience that, I'd say.
It's the other thing is you can leave all your sailing kit at home. If all the Euros out there, you need some sun protection. 100% you want to be on the sun protection. Do not skimp, but you just want a lightweight shirt.
Oh no, Jordan, you're missing something here.
Yeah, the bar karate UV
and a bar karate sun shirt.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be perfect. Your life jacket, a pair of shorts, and away you go. Basically, that's it.
I didn't know about the bar karate sun shirt. That might come in handy, Jordan.
Yeah. We got
Jordan. Can we do something about this? Because I think we should back these Finn blokes in a bit.
Oh, we're definitely helping the boys out. Don't you worry, BP. There's no
okay.
question.
Well, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you because you're the PR manager and you've got to get on to this.
Okay. But, we're fully in on this event because it's a cracker. The Finns do it well, and if any fleet can get 300 boats to a Worlds, we've got to listen to what they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. So you get your go on. Sorry, mate.
There's a big social aspect to the Masters as well. So the biggest fleet I sailed in was 355 at El Balas near Barcelona. It might have been 352. Tourmalet was 355 at Lake Garda.
Wow.
But every day after sailing, there's something on. There's some food, some drinks. There'll be a midweek. When the midweek regatta, you only do one race and then into the party with your family and your teammates and everyone else from the world. So there'll be 500 people at that event.
Yeah. So out of this big group, we're talking a lot of people. A lot of people. Obviously, some do go, or most would go, but a lot of people probably sort of venture off in their own little groups. Do you find that, there's quite a bunch of people that you catch up with every time, and it's like, oh man, how you going? And because the 300 people is a lot of people to meet in one afternoon.
Yeah. So it is a little bit like that. So the Australians and Kiwis really stick together, and the Australian teams are always super tight. But you got your favourites from England and from Germany, and beautiful people from America. I don't know. Do you ever meet Gus Miller?
No.
Like Gus Miller, I met him in Barcelona. He was 83 years old, sailing a Finn, and I met him in Valencia. We're all there.
Not old Gus.
Yeah.
Old Gus. Oh, old Gus, of course. Sorry, I thought you meant Gus.
No, he was the coach of the American Finn team in the 1980s, maybe even earlier.
Wow.
And I found myself coaching Gus in Valencia, and I go, Gus, you can't sail like that. He goes, oh yeah, well, how do you think I should do it? And I told him how I thought he should do it. He goes, oh, we used to do that in the 90s. And I'm thinking, oh, hang on. I'm coaching a legend. I'm telling an absolute legend of the sport how to sail his Finn.
Yeah.
But to me, that caliber of person is just mind blowing. He tells stories about two-upping with a Russian lady in
Talent. This is the under 18. This is the under 18. Under 18 version.
But there was some fantastic stories of coming into the 1980 Olympics at Tallinn, and he set up training camps for all of the countries that couldn't afford proper training. He'd go and do it.
Yeah.
It's really it's inspiring, and if anyone has got a passion for sailing and they're heavier than 90 kilos, they should give the Finn a go.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
There's another invite, Joe.
Yeah. It's a good group. I quite enjoyed it. The problem, it's just a few hours away from my house, and I reckon you got to sail a fin. You know, like right now, where Phil's just retired 2 weeks ago. Now he'll be in seventh heaven because he'll be out sailing every second day on his fin. You know, and just enjoying it. You know, and that's what you want to do. Like you want to be able to, because you can just go out for a lovely sail and get through. Once you've worked out how to tack the thing, there's a technique that it took me a couple of smacks in the head to work out before I worked it out. That's what you got to do. But great boat. But I've got this theory. I've got a theory, Phil, and I'm going to test it on you. The social side is so strong because you've saved up all that time. You haven't talked to anyone all day, right? And you've got all these stories. So you need to get together and have the social talk to tell your stories.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we've done at RQ is we built a shade tent.
Yeah.
We call it the fin tent next to the rigging area, so that we get down there at 11 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing you do is put your esky under the table so that when you come in, you got somewhere to sit. And the wives will turn up with cheese and bickies and a bottle of wine, and we'll sit there for an hour or two after sailing, and
absolutely,
and have the debrief and a bunch of laughs and insult everybody and go home again.
So for the
perfect afternoon.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And that, I guess that characteristics is going to continue for these worlds in Brisbane. For the potential participants that are listening, where the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron's situated, it's a lovely yacht club. Like, it's got beautiful grounds. I'm assuming all the launching ramps boats will be spread out across all the launching ramps so they can get out easily enough. But, you know, it's got, restaurants in there. There's a hotel or a motel right next door. But then it's in the Manly Village, you know. So you've got beautiful swimming pool, restaurants everywhere, cafes. It's, you know, obviously it's on the water, as most yacht clubs tend to be. It's and lots of homes looking out over the water you can sort of doss down in, you know. So it's a and then you're just outside the city, you know. If you want to go into the city, you just jump on a train, you go to the city, and you can go there. And if you want to go up to the coast where I live or down to the other coast, same thing. You can jump. You don't need a car. You can zoom around. It's pretty easy. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you're only 20 minutes from the international airport, so it's about $40 in an Uber to get from the airport to the yacht club. And a lot of, I guess, one of the things that might people will be thinking, where do I stay? You know, there's no Hilton hotel next door.
Yeah.
We've got the Manly Cove, which has got 20 odd rooms, but if I was travelling from Holland or Germany or England to Manly, I'd be renting a house or part of a house.
Yeah.
There's Airbnbs. Everyone in Manly is either a yachty or a cyclist or both. So they're aware. They rent their rooms out. We've got Philippe Silver, I mentioned before, organised a room for him at one of our friends' places, and it's 5 minutes walk from the yacht club, and it's $100 a night.
Yeah.
So get on the Airbnb. Trevor Martin from RQ's looking after the accommodation. You can get hold of Trevor, and Trevor can point you in the right direction.
Another born salesman.
Yeah, well, he's another retired salesman. I got him. I talked him into moving from the sunny coast down to Manly. Found the house for him, set the price.
Unbelievable.
Hang on, you talked him into moving down to Manly. You sold a house to him.
Yeah. He goes, we're walking the streets, found a house, took a photo. This is the one you should buy. What should I pay for it? And told him. Yeah, so he did.
So
whacked a smooth tenner on it.
Let me add some depth to that for you, BP.
What's that, buddy?
Let me add some depth to that. Phil doing all that to Trevor, who is a real estate agent.
Real estate agent. Yeah, Trevor knew it was coming.
His number plates are you sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't fight, Phil. It's what goes on. So it sounds like, you know, like Obviously, from a spectator perspective too, like you're not out in rough seas, like the water, it's very comfortable out there. So if you're watching, there's going to be plenty of spectator boats. There's plenty of club members that have got some size. There's a huge number of boats in that marina, and a lot of them will be out. So there's plenty of easy viewing. You can still see most of the course if you're just standing on the yacht club lawns. You know, there's a big deck there. You can look out and see it. So that's going to be good. You know, you've got that whole village experience. It's from if you've got kids and you want to burn energy, there's a bike path and they can just go. And they can go straight to the swimming pool. They can splash around. There's plenty of other things to do. So it's a pretty...
So what you're saying, it's going to be a damn good regatta to get involved in.
Yeah.
I'm
into it.
What about... Oh, God, I might have to give it a crack.
Yeah, BP, do it.
Well, I might just go up there and have a look.
Okay. Cool.
Start off with Pilates.
Yeah, that's
Get some fitness.
Well, I'm going okay in the fitness department, but no, like I said, it'll be. But it sounds like fun. What about this regatta coming up?
Yeah.
For you, let's talk about that. We've got a few minutes left.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, we're in London today. We're going to Paris tomorrow, then Amsterdam, and then we get into Medemblik on the 13th. Of June. My 60th birthday is the 14th of June, so I'm taking 20 of my friends out for dinner in Medemblik. And so
what could go wrong?
Practice race the next day with a severe hangover, and then into it. Yeah. Glad you're not there, BP.
Yeah. Oh, you do.
Yeah. Well, you used to sail with Snowdy, so yeah. So
no, you got it.
Anyway, yeah. So that's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. 5 days of racing in Medemblik, and from what they tell me, it's a large shallow bay like Waterloo Bay. So all the challenges except for tide, no tide there, obviously, but it's all diked off. So but challenging breezes, they tell me. I've read the coach notes, and it's just challenging.
Bit fluky.
Yeah, just a sea breeze that struggles. So there'll be competing breezes. So So anyway, I'll head out of the boat. See how we go.
So for the listeners, so Medemblik in the Netherlands, the racing starts on the 13th to the 21st. So I think racing, obviously a couple of days measuring and registration and stuff, and racing starts next Sunday, and then 8 races, so over 5 days is the plan. As you said, so can you pronounce the name of the waterway that it's in? So it's
no.
Yeah.
Go on, Jake. Jake, give it a go.
No, let Phil. Let's see. See if Phil.
I'm presuming the second letter J's silent, so I'll say Iselmere.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I don't know. It's Islamere.
Yeah, I got no idea. It might be Jizzlemere. I don't know. But it's
That's the Australian way. That's the Australian way, mate. That's the Australian version. Jizzlemere.
Yeah. Now, just with 313 boats, mate, and you come from you're coming from the sort of being on the wire dinghies. When you sail in a fleet with that many people, has it changed the way you sail?
Well, you're trapped most of the time.
Yeah.
So, if you start at the boat, you've got options. If you start at the pin, you're going to be going left unless you get rolled, and then you probably duck the fleet and end up right. Yeah. But if you get off the line and you don't get rolled, basically your freedom to do anything's really limited.
Yeah.
So you just you got to work really hard, particularly in the first couple of minutes, to maintain your spot. And then as the boats peel off, consider your options. Yeah, but it'll be tough, and I'd say there'll be one side will be favoured. So if it's when we sailed in Iraklitsa in Greece, it was start at the boat, go hard right beyond the ley line, tack, and that was the best.
Wow.
the best path. Yeah, but so we'll find out. But I think it will vary a bit there. It'll be left one day and right the next by the look of the coach notes.
Yeah. And so, have you done much rig development? You done much fitness training, or have you just I'm here for fun?
Rafa offered me a rudder cover. We've developed. I bought a new rudder, and he said, "Do you want to take the rudder? You want to fly in your good rudder?" And I've gone, Rafa, it's a holiday with a bit of sailing. I'm not taking the good rudder. I'm going to leave that at home. But I've got a brand new Fantastica that I've chartered.
Oh yeah.
So got quality gear, but the last 6 months of work have been really, really hectic, and so I'd like to be 95 kilos. I'm 110, and I've been working really hard, doing a lot of travel, and fitness isn't where it should be, but it's okay. I've done eight Pilates classes in the last 2 weeks.
Get out there and breathe, my friend. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll get off the line and I can bang the right corner.
Yeah,
you'll be right.
Well, we're living the same lifestyle there, Phil. I haven't done anything except work for about the last 3 months. I haven't done anything except work at all, and it's just putting on the weight, and it's not healthy, mate. And I'm just madly jealous of you retiring. Is all I can say.
So people say to me, "What are you going to do in retirement?" I said, "Well, I've got to do WAGs with Trev on the 60-foot Cat Zero on Wednesdays."
Cat Zero, yeah.
Have to do that. Yes, I do that. Sail a fin Tuesdays and Thursdays plus Saturday.
Yeah.
And I've just started a VX1 thing with Peter Condy. We're doing Early Beach Race Week, so we've done our 1 day of training for that, so we're ready.
So basically, the only thing you're changing is you've added a VX1.
Well, yeah, so it's interesting going to the VX1 BP because it's back into asymmetric kites, and
yes,
it's a bit like the old skiff days, but they're interesting boat. You have to back the kite to jibe it. Would you believe?
Yeah, well, that's that's
it's weird.
It's a safety jibe. Yeah. It's blow it through. Yeah. It's definitely. I mean. But they're great.
It's quite short-footed.
Yeah.
It
needs to be a bigger kite on the Rex. It's the one thing they got wrong. The kite's a fraction too small, if you ask me. But
yeah. If they put a trapeze and a masthead kite on it, it would be wicked.
Well, that's in the design. When they actually originally designed it, there is a trapeze and a masthead kite set up. And I've seen footage of them sailing, and Andrew York used to sail around with a masthead kite a bit too in the early days. So but they're great boats. But
they are.
Yeah. So it's always got to me when people say, "What are you going to do when you retire?" And I'll just say, "Going to be happy." It's go sailing, have fun, go for a surf. You just can't wait. So
Well, that's the other thing, we went to Stradbroke Island surfing for a day, So there's lots to do, and it's got to be good for your health, to do all that stuff rather than in a plane or driving somewhere and eating fast food on the way to your next appointment.
Yeah.
So,
no question.
So I finished work 2 weeks ago when I dreamt work for the first 4 nights, and I haven't dreamt about it since. I've got it; it's out of my brain now. And it's a really, really nice thing.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Oh, we're jealous
Good
of
luck to you, my friend. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
jealous.
BP.
All right, I think we'll probably call it there. We're sort of coming close to the end of the time. We do want to wish you all the best at the upcoming regatta for the Worlds, the Masters Worlds. And mate, we'll back you guys in for the Brisbane event. So to all the listeners out there that have thought about it, what could they do? What's the best thing for them to do to get in touch, or to should they just register, or should they go and buy a fin? Like what's the scenario?
Yeah, that's a good point. Is there fins available where you are?
So the problem is, a lot of Europeans ask that question. There's only 80 fins in Australia.
Yeah.
So we're expecting up to 120 boats at the regatta, maybe 50 Aussie boats and a bunch of 6 or more containers coming from overseas. But so Rob McMillan at NB Sales Sports has got a fleet of charter boats that he's building, putting together. So he's got some good boats. The RQ Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron website will have charter boats for private people in the next month. So you can get onto that. Get hold of Trevor Martin from RQ for your Airbnb local. So I think considering the dates are in February, it's in the European window. The Europeans should just pack their boats in containers and bring their own boat, and then they'll have it back for spring when it's time to go sailing in Europe. So I'd pack your own boat, get an Airbnb, and enter on the website.
Sounds good. And so all the details are on the website. All this stuff that you've mentioned, you can find that on the website. And for the Europeans that come down here, just be warned, you may want to stay. It is paradise where we live, absolute paradise. So,
and for any Australians that are sitting on the fence, I'll hunt them down and find them anyway, Jordan. So you don't need to worry about them.
You're in trouble, PP.
I have promised a couple of events. It's getting close, mate, I can tell you. I'm nearly done with all this travelling around the world, building boat stuff.
Yeah, I hear you, bud. I hear you. Yeah, cool. Let's stay off aeroplanes. Unless you're going for a sailing regatta, that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, absolute pleasure to see you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bloody oaks.
Have a great regatta, and I'll see you when you get back, bud.
Thank you. Good on you, Jordan. Thanks, BP.
No stress, mate. Good luck and have fun, eh?
Thank you.
I just love that whole story, BP, of like selling a house to a real estate agent. That's just bloody hilarious. That's Phil to a T, right?
It's underwritten. It's kind of like he would have known before he even sort of started talking to him that there would have been a finder's fee or a commission there somewhere.
But every class needs someone like that, and he's doing a power work.
And every class does, and that's important.
And for the people who are fired up, just search Fin Worlds 2026. There'll be a page there for Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. That's the page you go to. We talked about there's a website, but it's actually on the RQYS page. So if you want to have a look, jump onto that one. I guess some of those boys might be jumping on the Radix Nutrition, mate.
Hey, I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to have a quick. I was actually going to have a talk to you about this in particular because I think we should aim this at the boys and girls that are sailing next week. They can actually get their stuff delivered to the regatta, to the event.
Oh.
And let's face it, I mean, we've got 330 something sailors at this event, and you can't tell me that they're all Olympic fitness. There'll be a few you and I's in there, having a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's.
But why not? Why not have a go and be at your peak performance and get yourself some good breakfasts and maybe some recovery shakes and give yourself the best chance you can have, along with a couple of beers at the end of the day, obviously.
Yeah.
But Radix Nutrition, I reckon you could do it. I reckon it'd be a good thing.
So new protein smoothies at the start of the day, a couple of beers at the end of the day. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Protein and superfoods all in one hit. If you do, so all the Fin guys, if you do want to jump on, you can just go to the website Radix Nutrition, and if you use the one word Barkarati as a discount code, you get a discount on us. So that's it's a no-brainer.
Put in the sailing club, and I'm sure make sure you put your name on it. Put in the sailing club. I'm pretty sure it can get delivered there.
Yep, very cool. All right, on events, obviously, we've mentioned the Fin Masters Worlds, which is a great one. One of our favourite events, BP, I rave about it all the time. I think you boys have gone on the journey with me. The Stockholm Archipelago Raid starts 23rd of June. So there's 4 or 5 days of F-18 cat sailors racing around 36,000 islands and bumps and rocks and all sorts of stuff and having saunas and beers together at the end of the day, cannot wait. It's the 25th anniversary, so they're going to do. I'm
still surprised you haven't gone over to do it, mate.
Well, we're going to progress that discussion a little further, BP, because, there's some Aussies doing it, and we're going to follow up on it. And I'm hoping we're going to do that next week and see a little bit more about it. So all the catwhackers out there, get fired up because we're coming in strong.
Coming in hot. Well, look out for the rocks, though. Look out for those little reefs and jutty points.
100% BP. I reckon I would like to do it. I think I really.
I'm with you. I reckon it'd be a great event to do. And by all accounts, if we can get old mate on next week, he'll pump it up even further. And maybe we can start seeing some more Antipodeans heading over.
Yeah, cool. All right, Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week. Every week we ask you whatever you want to contribute at cheers@barkarate.com or if any other of our socials, but preferably Cheers because it's easier for me. We're very interested in, well, it is. You can send audio too if you want or video. We've had
a few. We've had a few.
Yeah, we're going a bit more upmarket with our socials. So any audio and video.
Well, we're trying.
We're trying. And you master of what's the term?
IT manager. IT manager.
Our new IT manager is going to be able to load a bit more of that stuff for us.
Yes.
And of course, it's presented by Vycobi. Our friends at Vycobi do a fantastic job, including making our UV tops, which we mentioned in the interview, which Phil got all excited about. So if you want to go to Vycobi, you can jump on that. And they provide a $200 voucher each month to the listener of the month, which is super cool. So we take all the money that Vycobi give us and we give it straight back out to you guys. That's it. I think we're the only podcast in the world that takes all our money and gives it away. which is kind of. But
I don't know how long that model's going to last for, to be honest.
Well, it's exhausting, but but it's about the listener, and it's always been about the listener. So we love you guys and girls, and we appreciate you. Emails this week. There's a couple of interesting ones. We got one from Luca Mayer. My name is Luca. He's from Kiel.
I live on the second floor.
Very hard not to do that joke, but you did it.
Sorry, I had to.
Big fan. This is in your wheelhouse, though, BP. Big fan of the podcast. Just sailed the Baltic 500 race last weekend.
Yes.
Finish was 1.6 in the morning for most boats, whatever that means. Like finish obviously early in the morning. It's a 500 nautical mile double-handed amateur race in the Baltic Sea. Basically, Kiel through to Skagen and back via Copenhagen. So a loop and then back. It's very busy little part of the world there, so they wouldn't get much sleep in terms of land masses around you. Unfortunately, their website's not up to date, but at all. But it is very cool race regardless. And he mentions he sent through some information. He also said that there is an ORC and then a Della 31 design and yardstick. So there's a few different classes that you can race in. If the D30 class had 8 boats in 24, this year a few less. It looks a pretty challenging course. I don't know if you've looked at the map, BP, but I have.
I had a look. It looks very quite difficult in some parts.
Yeah. So the race was created by two buddies 7 years ago, and they're pushing the short-handed scene in northern Germany quite a lot, and it got into it quite deep. So plenty of fun stuff and bunch of people enjoying it. So Luca, we appreciate you telling us about that, and that's one we're now interested in because we are pushing.
Well, I'm interested. I can tell you that much. I wouldn't mind getting one of my little X2s up there. So we are thinking about a Northern European tour.
Yes.
Potentially next year. Luca, I might pop you a mail.
Yeah, perfect. I had a look at the results list there, Bud, and I thought, BP would want to get one of his boats into this.
The problem is, there's just so much going on, and it's time and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, buddy, I hear you. But so Svete Reinke.
Interested for sure.
Svete Reinke and his teammate were the winners in that event. So, yep, cool. Appreciate that email, Luca. Good on you, buddy. If I jump down jump down, turn around, and bounce back up. We also got our mate Dara McDonough, our Irish
back
mate.
on again.
Hey, did you see that one?
Yeah. So go on. You go. You got it in front of you. So.
I don't know if I could do this one. Hey, lads, I can't believe IRC effed my mum, which is the name of his boat, and being a mum 30, MUMM, didn't win the monthly prize. He's spewing about not winning the Vico gear. He'll try a more wholesome approach. Whilst growing up as a teenager in Courtown Sailing Club, we sailed Hunter Formula Ones, a 21-foot one design fleet. You heard of those, BP?
Yeah, I have actually, yep.
Yeah, I had a look myself. The only other fleet was in
I do
Rutland.
beve we had one of those at the West Lakes Aquatic Centre back in
Is that right?
just after Nam, yeah.
The other fleet was in Rutland in the UK. So once a year we would head over to the UK Nationals. At the time, it was a very competitive fleet. Unfortunately, the fleet fell apart in 2010s. In 23, a few of the old crews of F1s, now in their 30s and 40s, with young families, put our heads together to try and resurrect the fleet, spearheaded by my oldest drinking sailing buddy, Marty O'Leary. God, I love that.
Good old Marty.
Yeah. MOL is mother-in-law, as we call him, MOL. Mother. Eh? Oh, that's MIL. I got that wrong. As most of the fleet had spent over a decade in people's gardens, they were cheap to buy and get back on the water. We currently stand at 8 boats in Greystone Sailing Club, 2 of which are under 25 crews. Last year, made the trip across the pond to Rutland to the UK Nationals, and the Irish lads came out on top. Marty and the Usain Bolt crew winning, and myself and the Bits crew coming third. Also led to 4 UK boats coming to the Irish Nationals. It's been great pleasure falling back in love with these sporty little boats. So sporty one of the UK crews capsized during the UK Nationals, retracing steps from my childhood and teaching the next gen how to sail these boats. That's a cool email. How many?
Hey, not that the last email wasn't cool. It was just, you got to understand that there's hundreds of emails that come in, and to make it to the show alone is not a bad effort, but to win it is pretty exclusive.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, Dara, you're
that's a good one.
Sometimes persistence pays. You only got to look at our top listeners and top right, they eventually get it.
So there's, I think, another 3 weeks for people to take him on and try and beat him, because we only awarded the week before. I do want to say, BP, though, how many times have we had emails from our Irish friends and how they're resurrecting old fleets? I'm liking it. The entire planet just goes in ebbs and flows, and I think when people see old boats sitting around doing nothing, with the price of things these days and the cost of living and all that jazz, you can get on the water relatively cheap, can't you? Oh, and it shows maybe cost is one of the driving factors around sailing participation, because people going back to old boats and resurrecting them. I love it. Any sort of sailing is good sailing in my world. That's it. I don't care what you sail, as long as you're out there. I reckon it's great.
100%.
Unless you're sailing a desk.
Well, or a bathtub.
A bathtub, yeah, no. Anyway.
Some will say there's plenty of bathtubs out there.
All right. There are.
That time, is it?
It's hot time
without bites.
Again.
It's getting a bit of a habit. We're going to have to break that habit, because he does add a lot to the show. It makes the two of us look really smart, basically, doesn't he, BP?
Well, yes, he does, but he adds that element of unpredictability, and I think that, with you and I, we're quite level-headed. You of course keep the vibe of the show on the roll, and I generally sort of tag along and say some wiser words of wisdom. But he just really throws in that unpredictability, and I think that's what we're missing.
Well, he'll be back. All right,
better than ever.
There's a bit going on, so Hot Time normally, let's run through it. Let's see what you've paid attention to, my friend. And I know
I've got something to say coming up in one of these comments, don't worry.
Oh, good man. The TP52 Super Series, the second race in that series, been run and won at time of recording. So it looks like the Stars and Stripes team took that one out.
There you go.
Yep. So in a pretty convincing win. So I don't know. Have you watched any of that at all, my friend?
I turned it on the other day and it was delayed, and that was not really that interesting to watch.
I watched a little bit of it. That American Magic, I call them Stars and Tripe. I just realised I did that. Sorry, team.
Well, there you go. Well done.
That's a completely different team. I just dropped. So the American Magic Quantum Racing team, they won with a race to spare, and they definitely had. They looked like they had good speed in all conditions. So
right.
Yeah, and to win with a race to spare is pretty impressive.
In that fleet is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. So 2 races into the series, and American Magic at the top of the tree. Well, I think the next regatta is about a month away, and I reckon that's the Worlds. So that'll be
back down in Palmer.
I haven't got the series date up in front of me. Hang on, I can find it. So they world champ in Cascais.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. So that will be. I mean, what a great place to go for a yacht.
Just Portugal. Portugal's just it's the motherland. It's the motherland. Portugal now.
It's a great place.
It's the place to be. It's the place to be.
It is the place to be, BP. You're so right, my friend. Anyway, looks like that team that's going strong, that regatta, and congratulations to them. 49ers and the NACRA 17s. So 49ers, 49er FX, and NACRA 17s are holding their European championships. We've got one more day of sailing to go, but I don't know.
Light.
Well, yeah, maybe, but in the 49ers and the NACRA 17s, it's all over. They don't need to sail. In the FXs, there's 3 boats right next to each other, so it's a big battle. But the interesting thing, so the Brits won in the 17s, so John Grimson and Anna Burnett, and they don't need to sail the medal race, basically, but obviously they do. And then in the 49ers, the Kiwis have found a new superstar pairing. So Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush. They're pretty new in the fleet.
George Lee Rush.
Yeah.
That's a name, isn't it? It's a cool name.
It is a cool name. They're dominating in that. I don't think
that's kind of a cool name. Those Kiwis. There's always a cool name in there somewhere along the lines.
Yep. Cool guys. But anyway, they've been dominant, mate. It's been light winds.
Yes.
But and it looks like it'll continue to be
in Greece, wasn't it? In Greece, wasn't it?
I haven't even looked. Where were they racing?
Yeah, Greece, and I think that time of year, middle of summer, right down in the Med. It's very, very hot and very timid.
Yep.
But hey,
very timid. Yeah. Anyway, 3-way shootout to go in the FX. So three teams very close there, within a few points. So that will decide it. But that's a good one. So keep your eye on that. Sail GP BP. We have to discuss Sail GP.
Well, we do, and I mean you can bring it up because this is kind of just the signing of the new owners. I guess is what the comment I wanted to come up, because it did come up on my feed. But right. It came up not from the sailors' side. It came up from the general public side.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Well. Okay. Now you'll
explain what you're referring to.
Well, of course, you're on to the Deadpool program, aren't you? So, I mean, you do all the details, and I'll talk about what I saw because.
The announcement of. The Australian Team Australia have signed, they've been bought by some famous people. So Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, the owners. So that's sporting.
Ryan Reynolds, the most famous Northern Australian on the planet.
Yep. And Hugh Jackman, probably one of the more famous Australians. They've bought the team, they own the team, and they've got sponsorship from Bonds, which in Australia, Bonds is basically undies. I guess undies.
Yeah, undies and socks.
So I'm waiting. Given the superhero background, I'm waiting for the Aussie team.
I mean, you could even say they make thongs.
That's true. Yes, I'm waiting for the Aussie team to come out with their undies on the outside of their sailing kit. That's what I'm wearing, the Bonds on the outside.
I would love it. But anyway, to my point. So I get this feed come through from the general public side. Yeah. Well, I mean, what a bunch of wallies there are out there.
Why? What did they say?
Well, one of the comments, super rich guys buying and paying for a bunch of super rich kids to go sailing around a course. I mean, I'm just going, oh God, I just lost it. Okay, and it frustrates me, because 99% of us, we can't hardly scratch a couple of spare bucks together. But it's just annoying that sailing still has that
exclusive
that aura that we're trying to break that down.
It does my head in
And you
too.
get peanuts like this
Yep.
who get onto a Sail GP. Yeah, okay, it's been bought by Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Now they're not short of a buck, no doubt. But the Sail GP itself is the highest, one of the highest levels we can get to. And so, yeah, it is expensive, but God damn, it annoys me that they think that every one of us are like that. It's just frustrating.
No one would say that about Formula One. If somebody bought a new Formula One team, it just wouldn't happen, would it? No.
No, but you look at the majority of the Formula One drivers, they're majority paid seats.
Yeah, bought seats. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I do have to say, I've known about this for a year and a bit, right?
Of course you do, because your finger's on the box.
And I've had to keep my mouth shut. And in fact, I accidentally said something about it. I think in Sydney, actually. I might have said it in Sydney, talking about the ownership of the Australian team. And I'd been sitting on it since basically, more than a year. I felt, whoops. But anyway, so now it's out there. I can't get in trouble anymore, so that's good.
Well, it just goes to show, though, how on the pulse we are here at Bar Karate. We know what's going on. We just can't tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot we can't talk about, but that's cool. Did you watch the racing last night? So we've watched one day of racing.
That's a negative, my friend, because I like to watch my football game.
Yeah, well,
Aussie rules football, that is, because there's another argument going on about soccer and football, which does my head in.
I've got to say, BP, so last year it was hot, humid, and very patchy wind. This year, not as hot, definitely humid, but patchy wind, and it's marginal, really marginal. Like it was some really.
What's tonight? What does today look like?
It'll be the same, I'm guessing. I haven't looked, but I think it's slightly windier from memory. I checked about a week ago. But gee, my sympathies out there to our friends who are sailors based in New York. The tide that races through that water, it is so fast. You should see the amount of water going past the marks. Like the marks are fully planing, trying to hold their spot.
Sounds like the Solent, doesn't it?
They're going to have to start foiling the marks soon just to hold their spot.
Oh, there you go.
Foiling marks. Yeah. But anyway,
there could be a business opportunity for us.
Yeah. Spain were the dominant boat last night or yesterday. As we go to air, it'll be. But everyone had some bad ones. But the Spanish team looked really, really good. But anyway, light winds. It was carnage. Just so you know. Actually, I won't give it away, but the Kiwis had a very good last race. How about I say that? 505s, Lake Garda, Leg 2 of the Europe Cup. I know you don't give a toss about this, but
of course I do. We only pick on you. That's all.
Yeah. So what the 50s do?
I love the 50s. Don't worry, I love them.
They do a 4-race series. Call it the Euro Cup. And the second leg it's like the TPs. The second leg was just in Rio Delgado, which is at the northern end of beautiful Lake Garda, Torboli, up at the northern end of Riva Delgado, which is Lake Garda. Also Riva up there. Anyway, good sailing. The thing I wanted to mention is there's been a young German crew that have just got better and better and better, and they look like they were going to be the next big things, having young guys come through. And it's Jan Philipp Hoffmann and Felix Brockerhoff. They won, and they won the first leg as well. So I think they've gone from being up and coming to the team at the moment. So it's impressive to see. I think that it's pretty to dominate in that class, you've got to have a lot going on. So, and both happy people. So I'm pretty happy for them to have that win.
Yeah, good one. Just before we end up, am I allowed to brag a little bit?
Of course, of course.
No, we do say the show's not about us, but I'd like to shout out to Jack Burak, actually, in San Francisco, who owns one of my X2s. He got himself on the podium in the Monterey race a couple of weeks ago. Oh. It was tough coming out through under the Golden Gate on the breeze, shifty sort of stuff. Then he turned left with the fleet, out 90 miles, I think the race was. Mm-hmm. Did it in about 9 hours or 10 hours or something. Ah. Absolutely smashing it down the coast, doing 15 to 20 knots of boat speed, and got himself on the podium for third in PHRF, which is their handicap system, obviously, which is a bit unknown, but hey, it's what it is. Yeah. So congratulations, Jack, and onwards and upwards. Start to get some trophies.
I bet he had a big smile on his face, reaching along on that thing.
Mate, you should have heard the conversation the next day. Yeah. I've got to say, all these projects, all the projects which are sort of, and we'll use the word amateur because it is amateur sailing. These owners buy these boats because, they see the potential in the boat themselves, but then they start sailing them and realise there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
Jack is really starting to come to grips with the boat, and on our forum we try and talk about a lot of experiences. But Jack is one that's out there and is really learning the boat and having a great time. And to get a podium is awesome.
It is. I'm happy for you too, mate. I'm really keen to see some results. So I'm smashing the thing along. Congratulations. Was it Jack? Jack
Burak, yeah, that's him, mate. He's a legend in San Francisco, and hopefully we can keep the roll on now.
Cool.
Yeah.
The final one I want to mention is in Saint-Tropez.
Yes.
The Loro Piana Giraglia, which is...
Oh, yeah. Just a little race.
Yeah. It's the Mediterranean Maxi Inshore Challenge, right? So all the Maxis. So this is where Bicey is right now. Now, the reason I want to mention this, BP, is you'll remember at the start of the show, I did say that Bicey sent through a little note saying... got to reconfigure the boat, change the format to 2 windward lured races. It says here, this event is 4 days of windward lured and coastal races. Right. Okay. So, I'll let him off. I thought he'd lied to us. He'd just dodged us.
No. No, it's a big week of sailing for sure.
Yeah. Well, so we'll get Bicey to do a little bit of an update on that next week. We won't talk about it now because, but basically a lot of the Maxis doing their circuit around the Med, having a grand old time as you would if you could.
Well, he's quite a regular on the circuit now, is our boss.
Yeah. Which is cool. It's his job though. It is actually his job. He's the head of high performance yachting and super yachts for Southern Spars. So he's out there doing it for work. I'm sure he's not enjoying it at all. He's purely focused on
absolutely hating. Yep. No.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind a chat, our boss.
I mean, he's gone out and not good. No, I was going to pick on him, but no, he's done well. He's the perfect bloke for that role, so good on him. Cool. I think that's us, BP.
Yeah, good on you, and thanks, Phil, for coming on and sharing the news about the Finns. It's going to be a good regatta next week, and I'm sure it's going to be just as good in Brisbane in 2026.
Yeah, should be a glamour.
Hey, Finn sailors, don't forget your Radix.
Yeah. So all the Finn guys, Radix, Nutrition's the website. Use Barcarati as your discount code.
Make sure you use Barcarati, yes.
Yeah, good discount from us. What else? That's it. Kobe. Oh, and if you want some hoodies, if you're cold, just go to the Barcarati website for that one. That's about it. Great week. Boss will be back next week, hopefully, but we've got a big one coming up and a whole bunch, actually. We've got a whole long list of people coming up. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, buddy.
See you, mate.
Okay, have a good one. Cheers.